Oh, that's low down. What happened? Ah, yes. Okay, Corliss is asking us about our visit to Vivian because she's just kind of ignored us since we last talked to her, which is... Thanks, Corliss. You try to remember the specifics of the conversation. She told me that the last time she spoke with Arundel was when they were together, with an Ashira from Dubai. Celebration over a big business deal. Corliss leans forward, eyes blazing intensely. Did she mention the specifics of this deal? Not much. Something vague about oil futures, but I got the impression there was something bigger going on. She didn't give the name of the vampire either, though she seemed rather pleased. That's right, fucking Vivian. God, I hate her. Ugh. She seemed rather pleased to brag about the meal they had that night. Apparently they drank from the daughter of some visiting royalty. Is there a spot? No, there is a spot on my cheek. I don't actually know how I got that. I can only assume... I would think it's from shaving, because I don't know where else. But I don't have hairs that grow up here. My like, sideburns kind of start, like, down here. So maybe I just started really high. That's, like, right on my cheekbone, though. But yeah, it's a little tiny cut. I don't think one of the cats whacked me, either. No, kitties, that's what I was thinking, but... I don't think they've whacked me in the face. I'm not sure how that happened. Easily 300 pounds. Oh, boy. I can imagine, yeah. The transmission, everything attached. Oof. Got a lift to use, and your instructor will be there. Okay, that's not terrible, but... See ya, Lonesome Drifter. Thank you for stopping by, like always. If you were sleeping and they stepped on you... I always wake up. I'm a very light sleeper. It's terrible. But I'm a very light sleeper when it comes to anything, except for, like... apparently, hurricane alarms and vicious thunderstorms. But, like... I have woken up, back in college, I have woken up because my roommate left the apartment, which was down a flight of stairs, and, like, towards the other side of the room. And the door woke me up. Well, I don't think they even slammed it. But I've also slept through a hurricane alarm, which was bad. So at least I like to think I've always woken up. I don't think they've jumped on my, like, actual face before. They've jumped on my hair, if it's, like, out on the pillow, and they jump on my chest, but... Sometimes it can happen on accident. Yeah, or when they flail. Yeah, I was thinking that too, but I don't know. Nothing stands out. Who knows? Roommate horror, not Peter. No. No, Peter, I would just wake up in the middle of the night to... Anyways, let's keep going. Interesting, Corliss says. I'll have a look at that. It may lead to the name of our Ashira. Excellent work, Silas. Sounds delightful. You shake your head. She left in a hurry before... Oh, dear. Oh, waking up to strange, heavy panting and being aware that there is the glow of a computer screen in your room and just kind of leaning over, staring across the room. The shuffling of blankets. The plapping of a hand rising and falling in rapid motion, and then you roll back, close your eyes, and muffle yourself with a pillow. I love that your ex-roommate has become part of the Horde lore. Crazy roommates. Yeah. To be fair, I think outside of one situation, I don't think I've had very many crazy roommates. A lot of the, like, friends that I had, and a lot of the people I knew in college, definitely had some wild fucking roommates. Jesus Christ, that's how it was. It was. Yeah. I was pretty miserable by the end of that year. I was desperate to move out, and I did as soon as possible. He chose to reenact the sound. Things I wish I could forget. It makes for a funny story, but Jesus Christ. Yeah, shake her head. No. Vivian's a fucking bitch. She wasn't going to tell me anything more. Noted. A knock at the door. A sharp knock comes from the door, and Corliss bids you to open it. A tall man slips into the room and stands to your left, straightening his jacket. You recognize him as one of Corliss's goons. The fucking goon squad is rolling up. One of her ghouls, my god. Same thing, right? It's probably Corliss's muscle. Maybe not. Ghouls aren't always muscle. Vampires are always stronger than ghouls. It's always funny to watch me. What's on my mind right now? Oh dear, I know. Oh no. I don't think I ever roomed with anyone but guys. Go to dodgehype.com. Alright, I guess. Let's get that shit out of here. Yes, one of Corliss's ghouls. One of her servants. Yes, Gregory, Corliss asks. What is so important that it cannot wait with the rest of the Cretans outside? Apologies, mistress, but Alicia Gray has arrived and she insists on seeing you. She refuses to take no for an answer. Corliss curses under her breath. The stress of her position is clearly weighing on her. She'll want to know how I intend to deal with the attack on her exhibition, she mutters to herself. Silas, you're dismissed for the evening. I have other matters to attend to, and for God's sake, try to avoid being accosted by anarchs again. Maybe stay home and read a book. She slams an open palm down on her desk. No more crises! You pat the gun in your shoulder holster. I'm taking the situation seriously. Don't worry about me. I'll be careful. You'd better be. Corliss snips and dismisses you both. Fuck. Dismisses... same fucking sentence. Dismisses both you and her sentence. Send in Miss Gray when you leave. Back on the street. Aside from cluttered bathroom sinks and kitchen mishaps. I think that happens in every apartment. Unless you like, and some people are better about it than others. I always fell into the trap of, I was gonna say, unless you set up rules, like specific rules, guidelines, and chore schedules ahead of time, like a fucking D&D session 0 for your apartment living situation. Unless you do that, it's very easy to fall into the trap of, oh, we're friends, we'll figure it out, we'll work it out. No, you're not coming up here this time. You ended stream early last time, little man. Go back to bed. All right, he waddled off. It's very easy to fall into that trap, which is a trap. I give it like a 50-50 that it actually works out. Oh, to be accosted by anarchs. Yeah, it is a trap. Happened to me every single time. Some worse than others. Yeah, I don't know what he was doing. Mouse like waddled out here, looked at me, didn't do anything, and just waddled right back away. You decide that it might be a good time to pay Luca a visit. I want to see Key! Key, please. Did we fuck the romance? Is that it? Is it gone? Ends up not doing their stuff for an understandable reason, then everything falls apart. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't think I'd ever lived in an apartment where the kitchen was... Sorry, lived in an apartment with roommates where the kitchen was like in an orderly state. Ever. There was one time I had a fine shared bathroom situation, because the other guy was a bit of a neat freak, and I won't complain about that. I probably didn't clean the bathroom as often as I should have, but everything I had also, like, went back into its own specific place. So I wasn't creating a problem. Mouse, please don't. The pain of the vitamin key deficiency. Buddy. You're giving me the little I need attention scrunchies. Cat checking in on you. Yes, he is. Come here. Oh, I've been catnapped. Wah! Damn it. Okay, we decide to pay Luca a visit. I don't think that happened last time. That sucks. Oh well, that's too bad. Knowing what she's been involved with, you're a bit worried she'll become a target. Besides, after you joined her in the confrontation with Moretti... I really want to say Moriarty. With Moretti, you could be drawn into an investigation if the Anarchs... Fuck. If the Archon, that word is so similar. If the Archon looks closely at police reports and keys private files. Not that she's working with the Anarchs, but the assault on the church will raise a few eyebrows at the very least. It doesn't take you long to reach her haven, and when you do, you waste no time in knocking on the door. Who would? What does that imply? How would you waste time? What? You show up to somebody's house, what are you going to do? Just stand outside and see if they notice you? I've done that a few times, but mostly as like a joke to one of my friends who knew that I was coming. Oh well. Silas? You hear an electronic voice, only vaguely resembling Luca's, come through a speaker beside the door. She must see you through a camera. Yeah, it's me, you say. You need a new speaker out here. I can barely hear you. Mouse? Just hold on. Something clunks on the other side of the line, and then her voice is crystal clear. Cord was loose. You want in, or were you thinking of standing out in the snow? Coming in might be nice, you reply, pleased to be on familiar enough terms with Luca that she's comfortable letting some sarcasm loose around you. Mouse. Oh, do not go up there, you little fucker. Alright. I'll let it pass for now. I put my little Bluetooth speaker right over the power button, so hopefully he won't be able to step on it. Stand outside and then call if it's a new place. Okay, fair. I'll do that too, sometimes. I guess it depends. I didn't do that with D&D. But, yeah. Yes. She might need to work on it, though. Oh, she might need to work on it, though. Haha. The door buzzes, and you hear an internal latch pull aside. Come on up. I've got the entire top floor to myself. I love how she just casually drops that. Like it's nothing. Why don't we have an entire floor to ourselves? Only the best, right? Do we not? What? Do we live in like some sad little schmucky apartment? I thought we lived in a whole ass, like, house. Huh? God, Mouse is so distracting. Mouse, you make it very hard to do this. Go back to bed, please, little man. I know, I'll give you love afterwards. I will. You don't seem to believe me. You keep trying to come closer. I will give you the love you want. Just when I'm done. You were sleeping right before this. Go. Yeah, I have a whole butler. Can't have one of those in a studio apartment. I know, like, what? What does that mean? I have the whole floor to myself. Unless it's like multiple condos or something. It's not the keyboard that matters. He just wants to be standing right in front of me. Which happens to be where the keyboard is, so he steps all over it. Mouse, please. Gotta hit the sack early. Alright. Bye-bye, Casey. Thank you for stopping by. Spoonie, yes, I didn't know if you guys could hear that or not. That is my washing machine going off in the background. Prosit, thank you. Luca's suite is at the peak of modern decor and design. Almost Spartan in its simplicity, it's all angles of stone countertop and tile floor. Stark white and black. Sparring for domination over a landscape with precious little color in between. She offers you a brief hug when you walk in the door, which catches you off guard. You hadn't been expecting a display of affection, but you return the gesture anyways. It simply wouldn't do to be rude, especially when you're a guest in her new home. So you didn't get enough of me the other night? She asks. After what went down, I wouldn't think you'd want to come anywhere near my place. Can we romance Luca? Is that incestuous? I know we're not related by blood, but like, I mean, in a way, aren't we? Do vampires not view other vampires who have been embraced by the same sire as some sort of sibling? Do they not see each other as like some kind of family? You can hug for that. You needy ass. I know that, D. I don't know. I guess. I don't know. The thought never crossed my mind. No, I'm sorry, D. If we hug, that's it. That's a slippery slope down to sharing beds and eventually, I don't know, worse. Who knows? It's dangerous. Don't get caught up hugging people that you can't afford to then be fucking later. Worse indeed. Oh, I am so congested. Fuck me. Wait, is that why you're so good at hugging? That would be worse. That's the main reason I'm here, actually, you say. We don't know if Moretti had any associates, kindred or kind. And after what we did last night, we should probably check in on each other. It's just pragmatic. Just pragmatism, Luca asks. She's looking at you funny. What's she getting at? Anything else on your mind? Are we fucking this? That's it? We hugged? Now we're having sex. Guys, I don't know what is going on. This feels like The Sims. We can't look at that. Look at that last option. I told you. Hugging is a slippery slope. It's dangerous. My interest in Luca is simply professional. I look after her well-being, and she looks after mine. Besides, she can't repay the favor she owes me if she's destroyed. I think I may be developing stronger feelings for Luca. I'm willing to see where this goes, but I'm not going to come out and say it. A hint won't hurt, though. Maybe. Nothing else? In my mind in particular, I say. I'm not interested in her that way. Why do you ask? I'm interested in a relationship with Luca. I really enjoyed our time together last night. I was hoping to spend more time together. I was really... Oh my god, what a horrible sentence. I really enjoyed our time together the other night. I was hoping to spend more time together. I don't like that. I'm going to choose the second one. Maybe. Because this feels like the most maybe. I don't know if we're locked out of a relationship with Key. And I don't want to be. So I'll give this one a go. Heh, slippery. Maybe a few things, you say. A few things, Luca replies. She tries to arch an eyebrow, but fails. I don't Turns out not everyone can do that. What kind of things? I guess we'll have to find out, she laughs. You're maddening, you know that? Absolutely. That was a lot more flirty than I meant to be. Oops. It's a common problem I have. She motions you to follow her through the suite, leading you through a living room that's far too big for any one person, and over to a floor-to-ceiling window. She looks out over the streets of Ottawa. They're out there, right now, you know. She says, as her eyes trace the snow-swept streets with a veracity vampires usually reserve for prey. In a way, the roads are arteries, directing paths of walking sacks of meat and blood. You shake your head. That's the beast talking. You can't let the past few nights get to you. They, you ask. The Magisters, Lasombra, Barassus and his toadies, here to wheel their way into the Camarilla. And now, we find out that another one of them was staying here in secret, replacing a priest and building a small army of ghouls? Feeding them his blood like a communion. It's just wrong, Silas. We didn't have time to speak at Alicia's exhibition before everything went to hell. Well, we probably could have spoken to you, but you'd had more pressing concerns on your mind at the time. There was no way you could have known how quickly the bomb would go off. She growls with frustration. It really bothers me how quick the Council has been to forgive the Lasombra for the decades of Sabbat pacts. For the decades their Sabbat pacts terrorized Ottawa from their base in Montreal. I've been arguing with Corliss about them ever since she brought them back here. And I never argue with her. Courting the Lasombra is a mistake, and no one's ever going to change my mind about that. And it's a little bigoted, Luca. Anybody could be embraced by a Lasombra, right? It's not really something they choose to be. I feel like you can't hate everyone for simply being created the way they are. That sounds a little yikes. Just saying. Just putting that out there. I come back here to only find that Arundel and Corliss have been negotiating with them for months? You decide to play devil's advocate for a moment. If Arundel extended his hospitality to Michaelis, I think that's his name, Michaelis, doesn't he have the right to be here? You guys can't see it, but there's a button at the bottom. It says, Luca sighs. Let me tell you something about his kind. Oh, yikes. Is this a racist speech coming in? Is it racist to be hatred? Hatred, Jesus. To be hatred, yes. To hate another vampire clan? Specifically for being another vampire clan? I don't know. The Lasombra. Now, let me tell you about something in his kind, she says, gesturing at Michaelis. I don't know how she gestures at him. I don't think we can see him. Unless he's out on the road, what? The Lasombra believe, and I mean wholeheartedly believe, that they invented the Catholic Church. That Christendom is a tool they've used for centuries to fight back against the Camarilla. But I've learned a lot more than the average kindred in the ivory tower. She leans over and looks you in the eyes. You can say bigoted, yeah. It feels a little bit, I don't know. It's always a little concerning when somebody hates an entire group of people, especially ones that like don't actively choose to be that group of people. It's like being born a certain way. I've spent my time off researching for years now. Holy texts, historic documents. I've spoken to experts about Christ, both kindred and mortal. Do you know what my conclusion was? You shake your head. I have no idea. The Lasombra are only parasites. They latched on, the same can't be said for every fucking vampire there is. They latched onto the faith and tried to steer it, but it took control of them in the end. And it's not just Christianity that they tried this with. When they instigated the Crusades, they started wiping out each other in mass. They couldn't even wage a holy war without destroying each other. But Luca, You're Catholic, you say. Are you sure faith isn't coloring the way your research trended, the results you found? I've thought about it, Lucas says. I have an obvious bias, which is why I spoke to so many people, gathered so many stories. I didn't want to find ones that fit my ideals and end my search there. Some of my conclusions were uncomfortable, but the greater hypothesis survived. Imagine not being able to start a holy war without destroying yourself. The Lasombra are parasites on Abrahamic religion, not the founders of it. Seems like you've really thought this through. She nods. Sorry for the rant. I haven't really been able to talk to anyone about it. It just ties into what Moretti was doing. And you know that Basaris knew about it. There's no way that he didn't know one of his kind had infiltrated Ottawa under our noses. We just need to find proof. What kind of proof? Luca shakes her head. I don't know. Correspondence of some kind between them. Lasombra don't use phones all that often. They malfunction. If they were planning something, it might have been written down. Letters sent via courier. Okay, fine. This is something that I can kind of agree with, Luca, right? The Camarilla have very strict code of conduct, and coming into a Camarilla court unannounced clearly violates that. If I'm going to be a Camarilla, that's a rule. They broke it. Okay, fine. Still feels a little... upsetty spaghetti. And how do you plan on gathering that evidence? It's not like he's just going to hand it over to you. Yeah, that's fucking obvious, Silas. Thanks. Luca, Basaris is a Lasombra diplomat from the States. He has immunity. True. My bottle sounds like the... Does it really? I gotta listen. Which undead noises? Why is my phone blowing up? What's going on? Why do I have so many notifications? The shadow things. You mean the shadows? I got other people's stories, like you can't... Yeah. Man, I'm bad with names. Yeah, her whole little rant is like... I get that... Right, okay, to compare vampire clans to... I don't know, humans of different cultures isn't completely correct. But in a way, that's kind of what it's like. I don't know. Maybe I don't know enough about the Lasombra to say that. But yes, while it is true, the Lasombra heavily infiltrated the Catholic Church and definitely did control it for a long time and were parasites of it. That's just like the exact same thing can be said about the Camarilla and all of the Western world's politics. So I don't think we're any better than they are, Luke. I'm just going to put that out there. I think we're all parasites. We're vampires. Literally, parasites. Oh well, whatever. A lot of vampire clans have not great views of one another. Right, yeah, they've also been, like... Humans hold grudges, and these are humans who have been alive for hundreds of years, so those grudges have developed for those hundreds of years. So I also understand that, right? It's not like... Man, I hate that guy because he's a Lasombra. It's like, I hate Basaris. And I've also known Basaris for 100 years. So, yes, I've been hating that for 100 years. Yes, woke king. Yeah. I don't know. Anyways. I mean, to be fair, yeah, the point of Vampire the Masquerade is that it is a lot of philosophical, moral questions kind of in the scope of the vampires to allow us to take it to an extreme to kind of play with it around better. I'll play the fucking game. Even if you wanted proof, who do you think will listen? Corliss? No, definitely not. The proof will only matter if they can benefit. That's true. That second line, though, the proof will only matter if they can benefit from it in some way. Unless we take it to the fucking Archon. Are you going to say that? Let's go with this one. Of course they'd benefit, Lucas says. Something like this going on right under their noses, it's an insult, an embarrassment. Dealing with it swiftly and without mercy would be a show of strength that would make others question the idea of repeating Moretti's mistake. How very medieval for you, morally advanced Luca. That's loud as fuck, isn't it? Sometimes washing machines scare me. Yeah. Alright, it's spinning down now. I know, I'm always a little worried, like, this is it. That's gonna explode. I'm gonna be without half a kitchen. GG, well played. Is it right next to your desk? No, it is in the kitchen, though, and there's not, like, a door from my living room to my kitchen, so... For all intents and purposes, it is right there. She turns her back on the window and walks over to the kitchen table. Its surface is covered in well-ordered checkerboard of photographs and detailed handwritten notes. Ah, so this isn't just an idea you've been having. You've been working on this non-stop, haven't you, Luca? I've been monitoring Basaris' rental for a few days. I thought it was only like a few days since we met Moretti. Has this been going on since before then? Is there something else going on here, Luca? What are you? She says. He leaves almost the same time every night. Last time I followed him, he was walking towards the Queen's Way, but I lost track of him. I think he was using that shadow trick they have. The next night, he did the same thing, so I kept exploring. There's a synagogue a block from where he starts his disappearing act. Fade hovers over the maps of notes and photos. And this is like something out of a conspiracy movie. Oh, I don't know if you can hear that. That's very high pitched. That's kind of scary. I don't think it's ever been this high-pitched before. I'm a little concerned. What if it, like, burns its own motor out or something? That would suck. I don't know what I'd do without a fucking washing machine. Sounds like... Yeah, it does sound like that to me, too. I might go check on it really quick. I'm also scared, like, what if I walk in there and it blows up on me? Better to be without a washing machine than to be without a stomach. Wash your clothes with your tears. Yeah, I'll just waffle stomp them in the shower. And wash clothes like people used to. That sounds miserable. Dear Lord, I actually don't think it's ever been this loud before. It's been acting up a little bit. I'm kind of worried that it's starting to break. It's not that bad. Really? It sounds horrible. Sounds horrid. Yeah, it does. I know. I'm sorry. Let me go check on it. I'll be right back. This is a little concerning. I don't see anything wrong. So I'm just gonna keep doing what I do. Is it humming? That was... I might have been humming a little bit. You're without a washer for a while in your old flat. Really? As long as you don't have a ton of clothes. Yeah, I guess I can see that. Well, just like, yeah, what have you done to that machine? Probably overstuffed it, honestly. We should get someone to check it out. Oh, maybe it's a super old model. That's true, actually. I've seen that. Small washers that hook up to your sink in the bathroom. Yeah. I have seen that. It's always a backup option, I guess. Oh well. This is like something out of a conspiracy movie, Faith says. It would be funny if it wasn't so well put together. She's in this to win it, Silas. Stay on her good side, huh? And Basaris does his play acting as a rabbi, you say with a nod. You don't reply to Fade's comments, but you file them away for later use. Sounds reasonable. Typical Lasombra. Praying, God, playing on the religious... Same, right? Preying on the religious. She points to a picture of a beautiful building that you haven't seen for quite some time. You hadn't even really registered it as a place of worship. He's doing something there. Every night, with rare exceptions. I haven't had the guts to keep going to that synagogue yet, but if you're with me, at least I'll know that if he gets the drop on me, I won't just disappear without a trace. Don't get me wrong, I don't plan on getting caught. I thought you wanted to find messages, you say. Hard proof, not a body. I do, she replies. I've seen enough Lasombra in the past several decades to know how they operate when they're undercover. They're more aggressive when they're directing full Sabbat packs, but when they're feeling out a new place to take over, they're all cloak and dagger stuff. Or they're all cloak and dagger, spy stuff. You think it's a dead drop? Luca nods. Yep. And if we can intercept those messages... There's your proof. Alright. I think I don't know the right definition of dead drop, because that doesn't make sense to me in this context. Dead drop. Oh, is a letterbox. Method of espionage tradecraft to pass information between two individuals. For some reason, I thought it was like I don't know, a red herring, a false start. Interesting. Yeah, I thought it was a metaphorical juke. Psych. I'm spacing out on the right word for this. I hope you know what I mean. Quite a literal dead drop, yeah. She picks up a picture of the synagogue and examines it closely. A bait and switch. Yeah, that's also the same thing. There's like one particular word I'm looking for, but... Worst comes to worst, we don't find him at all, and we have to come up with a new plan. Or maybe we'll catch him meeting a traitor from the council in secret. But my money's on it being a dead drop. A facade. Yeah, that word also works. No, these are all like same meaning and everything, but I just can't think of the word I was looking for. It's okay. Doesn't matter. Facade is probably the closest. A distraction. No, it's not. I don't know what... At this point, I don't even know what word. I'd probably recognize it when I saw it, but... You're planning this trip tonight, then. A goof. A bamboozle. Yes, we've been bamboozled. Sure am. It's an interesting mission, Fade says. I'll give her that much. But you sure you want to stick our nose into it? This is bothering me. I know. I think we might have fucked up the key romance. I'll go along with you, but we need to be very cautious. Even a hint of he sees us and we back off. I can't let this turn into a major incident. Too much is at stake already. If there's anything I can convince you to blah, 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 let's go with the first one, right? Why not? Why not? Live dangerously. Or maybe we should even go with the last. No, the last one feels a little fucked up after me trying to be on a moral high horse and everything. Let's go with the first one. We'll do it. But we'll do it carefully. Inch by inch, row by row, gotta make my coffin grow. All you need is a stake and a hoe. I don't mean the gardening tool, I mean a hoe like me. So you'll come. Luca looks positively starry-eyed. That's great! And don't worry, I don't want this to blow up any more than you do, trust me. I won't be winning Corliss over if I screw up Ottawa's relationship with Chicago. And I don't give a fuck about Corliss, so let's screw this up. Ugh. We'll play it safe as we can, I promise. Chicago's kind of far away from Ottawa, isn't it? Why is that what they're going for? Is it just because Chicago's big American city? What? Why not find like a smaller ally closer to Ottawa? Oh, well, whatever. Literally Detroit. Yeah, like New York. New York City? Exactly, Spoonie. Yeah, why not Detroit? It's literally on the other side of a river from Canada. Where is Ottawa? Is Ottawa closer to New York? Yes, it is. Whoops. Okay. It's actually like I was thinking Toronto. My bad. Yeah, you could even go with Buffalo or Albany. Literally, Chicago is actually quite a ways away. There are probably a few thousand big cities between Ottawa and Chicago. It's kind of a strange choice. But, you know, there's only 3 cities in America. So who cares about the rest of them? Fuck them. You ready for this? A bit abrupt, but I'm ready. Well, you did catch me a few minutes before I was going to head out. I didn't know you were planning on showing up, but I'm glad you did. She waves you to the front door. Let's go. We'll take my car and park a few blocks up from Basaris's place. From there, we'll go in on foot. Do all major cities have a big vampiric presence like that? I actually don't know canonically. Obviously, it's up to the game master, but in my mind, every major city would have, like, a vampiric presence. I don't know about a big one, but, like, if you are in a city of, I don't know, over 1 million, why would a vampire not secretly reside there and try to take over power, right? It seems like a missed opportunity. Maybe they'd answer to a prince elsewhere, but yeah. And pretty much all of the big East Coast cities are closer to Ottawa than Chicago is, so there's definitely a lot of picking grounds there. Vampires don't like to leave where they're embraced. Well, yes, but I feel like that's more for social and political ties rather than innate nature. As you wait for the elevator to take you back down to the ground floor, Luca starts to fidget, seeming a little nervous. Wouldn't it be a safety thing? I suppose so, right? Safety in comfort of knowing. Yeah, exactly. You know your area. Yeah. I suppose so. But there's always unhinged vampire, right? It's got to be. Vampires have ambitions or they don't get embraced. Although I'm sure there's plenty that get embraced just to be servants. But a lot of vampires do have have big ambitions for themselves or their clan. Luca starts to fidget, seeming a little nervous. It's a strange display after the confident way she proposed her plans for the night. You okay? You ask, as the elevator dings and you both get in. Something wrong? She shakes her head. No, not at all, really. I was just wondering about something. I'm sorry if it's a little rude to ask, but I was wondering about your gift. Gift? From Malcave. Oh. She wants to know about Fade. You figured it was a bit of an open secret in Corliss's close circles, even if the rest of the council could only speculate. Corliss hasn't told you. Fade appears behind Luca and crosses his arms. Oh, yeah. Go ahead, he says. Tell her all about your imaginary friend, and let's see just how highly she regards you after that one. No, Luca says. Corliss never mentioned it to me, and I figured it was rude to ask with no reason. But now we're heading out to a potentially dangerous situation for a second time, and I thought it might be a good idea to know. She looks shy for a moment before saying, Show me yours, I'll show you mine. I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours. Well, put it like that, Luca, and maybe I will fuck you. The more we play, the more I feel like we have gotten locked out of a key romance. Maybe it's time to abandon ship and go for Luca. Damn, all it takes is a little bashful body. Why not? Why not? Listen here, Luca. I have a stalker. Sounds hot. He looks even better. So that's all there is to it, okay? Except you can't see him. Why not? Why not? Why not? Right? Why not? I tell the truth about Fade. Why not? You ho. Luca might as well know everything, including his appearance in real life and the fact that I have conversations with him. She's a Malkavian too, isn't she? Right? She was embraced by Corliss. She did just say, I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours. You can look up if we're locked out with Key. That might help. That description is also an accurate description of your fate, too. That's true. Yeah, it is true. I can wait if you do actually want to see if we're locked out of the sexy times with Key. My hair is getting way too long. I'm doing it. I want to know. All right, I'll wait. I'll hold off. I am also interested. Not true, your hair is perfect. I don't think it is. No such thing as too long hair, really? I feel like there is. What chapter are we on? Great question. 5? I think? You still look huggable. Careful! Careful! We've just learned that hugging quickly leads to far darker material. Can't you look it up in the menu? Can I look it up in the menu? No. No, I don't know how to look that up. That's why I said alcohol. Has Alicia's basement been raided yet? No. Is that still going to happen? Because I know that is the side quest that we begin the key romance on, but I thought we lost that side quest by doing this thing with Luca instead. I think I have a piece of hair in my mouth. Did we go to Jordan's house after the council meeting? No, don't think so. But we did have the council meeting. No, we got forced to Corliss after the council meeting, right? Well, the council meeting, what did we even do after that? We went with Luca, right? I thought we did the side quest with Luca. What even? I have no idea. When Jordan called out Vivian's lie. Yeah, I don't think we went to his house at all after that. We didn't. We haven't interacted with Jordan like outside of what's necessary, I think. Not finding anything explicit. Oh well, fuck it. I tell the truth about Fade. So listen here. I got this guy, right? Wow, Lucas says, when you're finally done explaining to the best of your ability. So he's here right now. Yes, there is hair in my mouth right now. So he's here right now. Yep, you reply. There's no reason to lie now, but he isn't around all the time, just when he wants to be. And if I want to, I can kind of ignore him and he goes away for a while. Fade frowns at that, but then just shrugs. It's true for the most part. Luca waves in the wrong direction. Hi, Fade. This is ridiculous, Fade says. It's bad enough that you outed us, but now you want me to play patty cake with her. Can we move on? He says hi, you say. We should probably keep it at that. I'm not used to relaying messages. Feels a bit uncomfortable. So, what? Oh, she's going. Okay, she's gonna get into them. I was gonna say. So I show you my PP. Please respond. But you left me on red. If we aren't recruited for the raid, we're probably locked out. Still looking for the chance. Okay. Well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I know we're like halfway through the game, I think, realistically. I don't think we're terribly far into it yet. We'll see. The elevator. Shit. The elevator dings and lets the two of you out onto the ground floor. Blowing snow assaults the lobby wind. Blowing snow assaults the lobby windows with gusty howls. It's no wonder there's so few mortals wandering around at this night in the weather. At night in this weather. I still can't believe this building doesn't have an underground car lot. Luca says, as she pushes open the door and points towards a sheltered parking garage to her immediate right. So about my gift, she continues, as you trudge together toward her car. I can divine order from chaos, see patterns in scattered objects that lets me know things about whoever last touched them. We must shut down the security camera. Shut down the security camera system. That wasn't an option. I thought that happens before. I gotta be honest, I think we missed it. I remember going on like a big side quest with Key very early on. We had a chance, then the stork flirted away because Fade made him shameless. Well, what can I say? I'm just a horny motherfucker, I can't help it. Ah, that sounds useful. Drawbacks? Of course, she replies. Malcave wouldn't want to give us anything that's all upside, right? The downside is that sometimes I feel compelled to examine chaotic clusters. You know the old vampire mustard seed myth? It's a lot like that. You shake your head. You hadn't heard of it. But I have. I have. I don't think it's just mustard seeds. I thought it was anything in large numbers. A vampire will have to stop whatever the fuck they're doing to count every single one of them until they know exactly how many there are, and then they move on. Yeah. I never heard that it was just mustard seeds. Maybe that's where it originated from. I think I heard it was buttons at first. They have the same myth. Yeah, a lot of supernatural myths tend to get attributed to different beings depending on where the myth carries itself to. As with all mythology, right? You heard it was beans somewhere. Yeah, I've also heard it was beans. I think that comes from the original, bean counter, old merchant's way of keeping track of shit. It's probably why it was vampires counting beans. Who knows? Maybe there's a terrible joke in there about how merchants are parasitic for penny pinching and counting every single bean. Educational stream today. You've heard salt grains, rice grains. I have heard rice. I don't think I've heard salt. Salt is super tiny. I don't know how you'd count that at all. That might actually... I know. Now that I said it, I said it for a reason. I was like, you know what? That makes sense in my mind. I could see that. Definitely just pulled that out of my ass on the spot. But logically, I don't know. Kind of makes sense to me. Vampires in some cultures are believed to be a parallel to the aristocracy. Yeah, I mean, considering the fact that... Vlad the Impaler is typically seen as the OG Dracula. Yeah, I can see that. That makes sense. Pale skin, not going outside, always wealthy. I wonder where the first vampire myth is, because they are much, much older than Vlad. It's probably... you could probably trace it back to some old mythology where it's like, oh, this isn't recognizable as a vampire except they drink blood. And then it developed throughout many, many cultures, and there was no fine defining line, as with every oral tradition ever. Anyways. Some mortals used to believe that if you scattered mustard seeds in a vampire's coffin or around their lair, they couldn't pass through because they'd be forced by their nature to count each and every seed. That's obviously not true for kindred. She pauses. Now, except for me. It doesn't happen all the time, but when I see a large grouping of tiny objects, I don't always have much of a choice in the matter. I've trained myself to just glaze by suspect areas and not really look. It's a surprisingly useful skill to be aware of your environment without actually taking in the minutia of it. Minutia? I think that's right. Minutia? What? Feeding off the livelihood of others, yeah. I think I read that already. Whoops, my bad. Look at me. Read the minute, yeah. Thanks, D. Minutia, yes. I have heard that word before. That's right. I was very close. Minutia. Minitia. Corliss always said you were good at crunching numbers, you say. She claimed that's why you had her managing her accounts. Luca sniffs. Well, you get good at something when you're forced to do it a million times. I've developed algorithms and spatial recognition techniques that speed up my counting exponentially. So instead of losing hours, it's just a minute or two. Still, it's a bit of a pain in the ass. She opens the passenger's car door and starts counting. No. For you. Time to move out. Speaking of being wireless. Thanks, D. That is hot. Yeah, right? Overcoming I don't know, in a way it's a bit of a disability, right? It's something that you literally, it is kind of a mental disorder. She has to do it. It's a bit of OCD there. Oh, Jesus, stop eating your hair. We can fuck with the wrinkly brains. It's not, I don't got none of that. Just like, stop. That might not have been Twitch appropriate, whatever just went through my mind. Snowfall beats against the windshield of Luca's car as she drives carefully down the mostly abandoned Ottawa streets. One of the wipers is covered with ice, streaking the passenger side glass with melted water and salt. Melt water. That's not a word, right? That's not a thing. You could probably fix that easily, but neither of you wants to get out of the car until you reach your destination. Meltwater is a thing. Really? What? I don't think I've ever heard that phrase before. Fade complains the entire time, but you're easily able to tune him out. Welcome back to Canada, eh? Luca says as she turns the wiper speed up. You laugh. I think it missed you. How can you tell? She turns off the main road onto a smaller side street and slows down before pulling to the side and shutting off the engine. The car headlights go out, leaving only the illumination of the street lamps filtering through the ever-shifting snow flurries. The air that has an... Oops. I did read that backwards. The air has that indefinable crispness to it that only a fresh snowfall can provide. I love that shit. Oh. We're a few blocks out now. We have to do the rest on foot. Glad we don't really have to worry about the cold. This isn't the first time that I'm glad I'm not immortal. Cold can be awful while you're still out. What kind of a... That provides fuck all to the story. Why would you say that? What? What's snow? Meltwater, extra water. Meltwater. I've never heard that term before. Like, obviously it makes sense, but... Yeah. Norwegian. Impacts our lives deeply every spring. Yeah. I mean... I don't know, I guess I assumed there was a name for it. I guess I just didn't guess that it would be... that... simple? You don't live near a glacier, so it makes sense. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know, I've heard of melting water all the time. Oh well. Should we be worried about Basara seeing our footprints in the snow? Fair point. Is this where you've been parking every time, or have you changed up? Hopefully she's smarter than that. He might get wise if he sees your car. Let's go with the footprints. Footprints. She holds her hand out, and it's instantly covered in a fine layer of snow. This will fill in our footprints pretty well before he comes back the way he's going. Okay, can I ask the other one now? Right? Why do I only get one option of common sense? Silas doesn't usually have that many brain cells. Fuck. Why'd I forget the word cells? I know there's a name for it. Namely, for when water melts in the mountains, flows down. Yeah, same, right? Like, I knew there was a name for it. I just didn't expect it to be meltwater. Runoff? I don't know what I was... Runoff makes more... I don't know. Whatever. Brain nodes? Cells within cells within cells. You brush the snow off your arm, along a gap between your coat and mitts. It's strange how the flakes linger on you like they would an inanimate object. Nothing melts when it touches your dead skin. On a mortal, that snow would already be a thin layer of warming water. You shake it off and pay more attention to the world around you. Luca had asked you something and you completely missed it. What was that? I asked if you met the Archon yet. Oh. Yeah, you say, following her to the other side of the road before you lose her in the whirling snow. Piece of work, isn't she? I thought she was going to bite my head off when I asked if she was here because of the La Sombra. Not my business, she said. At least she didn't seem too interested in me, one way or the other. You step up onto the curb and continue down to the end of the block. She was interested in me, you say, or maybe not me per se, but about the Anarchs and why Ward was interested in me. So she's here because of the Anarchs, Lucas says. I should have known. She holds up a hand to stop you before rounding the next corner. We're almost there. Take it slow and act casual. If we're lucky, he won't see us approach, but if he does, we can't afford to look suspicious. There he is, Luke whispers. Finally, he's late. The two of you have been crouched behind a row of manicured bushes, iced in glistening white snow, for almost 15 minutes, waiting for the rabbi to show up. You'd been just about to suggest leaving when the front door of the rented home opens up, revealing an unmistakable figure with a long gray beard. Why do we have to follow him to the synagogue? Why can't we just go to the synagogue if we know where it is? Right? Like what? Huh? Oh yeah, we're definitely locked out. Fuck. Damn it. I had a feeling, but I don't even remember choosing Luca's side quest. She just forced herself upon me. But I wanted to pick Key. Why did it decide for me that I was getting Luca? Huh? I didn't choose her. Don't do the stupid make out in an alleyway to avoid attention trope. Is that a trope? What? Quick, we're drawing attention. Kiss me. But there's nobody around. I said kiss me. Come here. Yeah, it is. Really? Okay, I'd never heard of that. That's quite funny. He turns back and locks the door before heading out to the south. A quick look to the left and the right, and he's off in precisely the direction Luca predicted. You should be more aware of your old man. You should be more aware of your surroundings, old surroundings. Fuck off. You should be more aware of your surroundings, old man, Luca mutters. This city isn't as friendly to your kind as you think it is. But he's a vampire. He has supernatural senses. What if he is very aware of his surroundings, Luca? Hides your face from someone who may be looking at you. I've never heard that before. That's just such a silly idea to me. Oh well. Once Basaris is almost a block away, she moves to follow him, and you trail behind, mimicking her movements. She's done this before, after all. Hopefully she knows what she's doing. I'm going to play just a little bit more. Several minutes later. It's impossible to miss when Basaris does his disappearing trick. 1 second he's there, the next time you look, he's not. If there were any mortals around, it would be a blatant breach of the masquerade. A growl from Luca tells you that she's thinking the same thing. Remember the plan, Luca whispers. We'll keep going at the same pace until we reach the synagogue. Keep quiet and casual. Coat hood far up so we can't see much of our faces. Shocking. I've never heard that. I suggest that we stay as far back as possible. Avoid dexterity or composure. How do I know which one it's going to pick? Because one is mediocre. The other one is almost maxed out. I hope it picks the higher of the two. Charisma and manipulation, intelligence, or wits? Charisma, manipulation. Let's go with Dex. Just because that is the highest, and I hope it doesn't pick composure. Did it work? I think so. I hope so. Makes sense to me, Luca says. That's what I've been doing the last few times I tried to follow him. Maybe I should follow your lead in case I've been making a mistake. You creep along the snow-swept streets, keeping as close to Basaris' earlier pace as you can. It's difficult to work to a stock invisible foe. It's difficult work to stalk an invisible foe, especially through the snow, where an errant footfall can alert a passerby with a loud crunch, or even worse, a slip on the ice could send you toppling. Luckily, you are skillful enough to traverse the area without much difficulty, and you reach the synagogue without incident. The synagogue looms over the sidewalk, darkened windows staring out at the Ottawa streets with hostility, as though all joy has been drained from within its walls, leaving only malice and deep-seated resentment. You are certain joy has been drained from within its walls, leaving only malice. Read the same thing twice. Love it. Hello, good morning, Carrie. Oh, and bye-bye, Dee. You're certain that this was once a place of celebration and worship. But that was before Basaris arrived. After seeing what Father Moretti did to St. Paul of Padua, you can only wonder what Basaris has wrought here. You feel that, right? Luke whispers as she pats you down. I mean, as the two of you huddle in the shadows of a nearby alley. You're both cloaked in darkness, invisible to anyone who may be watching. You nod. Feels like death. Hard to explain. A light flickers to life inside the synagogue. There, Luca exclaims through gritted teeth. I was right. She's already started moving. Luca patting me down? She's already started moving. Or it could be coincidence. She looks back at you with a smile. No such thing. You coming or what? We've already got this far. My stepson is a menace. Something needs to be done, Basaris says to a tall figure cloaked in a shadow. You would barely know that the second vampire was there if it wasn't for a thin red tie that he's wearing, pulled tight around his pale white neck like a noose. The sheriff has been caught meddling in our affairs twice now. That is what they do they not? The figure hisses. Simply being close enough to hear his voice feels like your spirit is being sucked away into a starless void. A sheriff cannot help being a sheriff. You presume to question my judgment, Javier? Basaris asks. There's a tightly controlled anger in his voice, like he's ready to lash out at any moment. Something has wound him up tight. Fuck, I'm so sad we missed the key romance. But I guess we're getting Luca instead. I hope she's just as interesting. Key is very interesting. Since we're probably not going to get his backstory, I'll tell it to you anyways. Unless people have an issue with me spoiling that. Do it. Okay. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get it because you have to romance Key to get his backstory, and I think we've fucked that up and it's gone. Key is a Nosferatu completely, but he's rather old, and I think he was born back when like America was still kind of establishing itself as a country, and was in some, like, when he was embraced, the Nosferatu were in a full-out war with the, I think it was with the Tsimisi, you know, the flesh crafters. Tsimisi? I think it's Tsimisi. And he had no idea what the fuck was going on, what to do, or how to defend himself. Got captured. Misi! Got captured and basically experimented on by one of the ancient Tsimisi, who was like, you know what, I'm going to have a little fun with you. Let's see what you can do. And just like, he was an ugly fucker at first, because he was a Nosferatu. But then the Tsimisi, over the course of weeks, and what Key describes as being absolutely excruciating, kind of reshaped him, crafted him into a different thing. And the way the Tsimisi described it to him was it took all of the deformalities of being a Nosferatu, and he combined them into one thin little sliver that runs from the base of Key's neck down to the base of his spine, which is in constant, slight pain. It used to be much worse, but Key has learned to just kind of ignore it more and more throughout the years. But I guess we'll find out what Luca's backstory is now. No, Javier replies, stone cold. He hasn't moved a muscle since you crept up to the window. I'll do as you ask. Just like that? Sar says. No, you must have a plan. Since when have I needed a plan? You brought me as a knife in the dark. That is what I remain. Why complicate matters? This isn't some fledgling right off the embrace, Basaris says, shaking his head. This is a sheriff, and he's not a political appointee. He's strong. Don't underestimate him. I suppose you have a means available to me then. Basaris hands Javier 2 old-looking cell phones and a slip of paper. There are 2 numbers here, he points to the paper, and a backup cell in case you accidentally brick the first one. The first number is for a mortal who we can use to blackmail the sheriff and force him to meet you beneath the Shaw Center. I've arranged for the parking lot to be empty. Once you have him alone and cornered in the dark, you can do what is best. You can do what you do best in privacy. Take him off the board, Javier asks. You sure? They're talking about killing Key. Wow. I got this encounter the first time, and me and Key fought off this dude and killed him, but we never found out who he was or why he came after him. So it's kind of interesting to see another side of the story now and learn what's going on. Certainly. He smiles grimly. We can't allow skeptics to turn us back now, when we're so close to being openly accepted in this domain. I worked too hard for this. Remember the unity, Javier. We will spread the oneness of Shalim? Don't know who that is. Don't know what that is. Shalim through this land. Have faith. He turns, I wonder if that's one of the old vampires. He turns to walk away without another word as Javier steps out of sight, back into the rear of the synagogue. Time to leave before we get caught. I can't believe what we just heard, Lucas says, as the 2 of you pause for a moment behind the cover of a large dumpster. We have to do something. What? Tell Key we're spying on a diplomat. Are you sure that's a good idea? Luca nods. I think it's worth it, all things considered. He'll forgive us when he survives the night. We should call him right now. The longer we wait, the more likely he'll be ambushed by Javier. The police station is less than 10 minutes' drive. We can go there and warn him directly, maybe even fight by his side. Think for a moment. Why warn him when we can be heroes? Let's go to Shaw Center and we'll be close. Let him go to Shaw Center and we'll be close behind. When Javier attacks, we'll be there to stop him and defend him in battle. He'll owe us big. All of these are good options. Go to the boy. Yeah, I kind of want to go to him in person, warn him directly. I feel like he would be most appreciative of that. Oh. Key, I swear to God, if you die, I'm restarting the chapter. It's less than a 10 minutes drive. Let's go fast, right? Right? Quick. Fast. No, what the fuck is wrong with you, Luca? I might have to restart the chapter. No! Oh my god. He's not there. The police station is a buzzing hive of activity, and Key is already dead. Maybe. Don't know. Who can say? But you find no sign of Key whatsoever. You just missed him, the desk clerk says, blinking his useless cow eyes at you lazily. Some mortals can be absolutely infuriating, but this man is probably telling the truth. Where'd he go? You ask, barely restraining your anger. Yeah, my anger at wanting to restart the fucking chapter. The clerk face loses its friendly veneer. You think the chief tells me where he's going every time he leaves? I can't tell you what I don't know. Luca grabs you by your arm. It's not worth it. He doesn't know anything and we're wasting time. We should head to Shaw Center, but I want a little more backup. Who can we tell? You ask. I'm not sure bringing anyone else into the loop is a good idea. Don't worry, Luca says. He's about as trustworthy as you can get in these circles, especially with you involved. That's a rare commodity. You don't mean... Let's go pick up Jordan. Fine. Fuck it. Fine. It takes surprisingly little prompting to recruit Jordan for your rescue expedition. You'd arrived at his home in record time, and you're certain Luca broke several reckless driving laws to do so. When Jordan answered the door, he was already dressed and ready to go. So it's Key that Basaris is after? Jordan asks, as the three of you get into the car. I saw that we'd be going, but I just didn't know where. I just knew you'd show up and we'd be saving someone. Does that line work on everyone? Luca asks, as she guns the engine. Not sure who actually buys into this new age stuff. Jordan sniffs with irritation. Do you want my help or not? If I was trying to impress you, I would have pretended to know everything and let you fill in the details. People brag about powers they don't rarely... people bragging about powers they don't rarely admit their flaws. People bragging about powers they don't have. Rarely admit their flaws. Okay, true. Some allies they're turning out to be, Fade says in the back of your head. He's decided not manifest for the car ride. Come to think of it, you've rarely seen Fade take form when Jordan is around. Maybe you'd be better off on your own. Interesting. Interesting little detail. Okay, Luke says. Sorry, I'm on edge. I like this, the three little Malkavian fledglings. It's like an episode of Scooby-Doo. She pulls back onto the street and heads east, towards the ambush site. It's no big deal, Jordan says. I'm already a part of this anyway. This way, when it goes down, this is the way it always goes down, and I always forgive you. Luca doesn't say anything for over a minute of awkward silence. Finally, she continues on as if nothing happened. There might be something else with Key. Someone blackmailing him. If I understood Basaris right, they're going to lead Key into the trap. It's immortal, Jordan says. He usually doesn't survive. How do you... Luca says before shutting her mouth with a click of sharp teeth. You know what? Never mind. He usually doesn't survive, as in, like, in the different playthroughs of this game. That's true. He died when I first played it. Does that make Fade Scooby? Yeah, maybe. The Shaw Center is unlike any structure in Ottawa. The towering wall above its front entrance is a bending array of mirrored geometry, reflecting the road and distant skyline back like a funhouse mirror fractured into dozens of triangular segments. Stacked wooden railroad ties resting in front of the building serve as unlikely benches for weary passerbys. As you drive to the north of the building, it quickly becomes clear that the area is deserted. There's no one here, Luca says quietly. Are we too late? Well, we did our best, Fade says. Time to go. Look! Jordan points out the window as you pass by the cross street. I think I saw them walking into the tunnel. Damn it, Luca says. We have to turn around. She wrenches the wheel to the left, sending the car lurching over the concrete median dividing the road as she sweeps into an illegal U-turn. By the time you turn left, into the cross street, Key and his companion are nowhere to be seen. Holy crap, Fade says. Who knew she could drive like that? Luckily, there's no cops around. Yeah, he just walked down the tunnel. Now I'm more upset. I know, we definitely didn't get to romance him. It's too late in the game. They must have gone to the tunnel, Jordan says, peering forward. Dally Avenue goes underground for a few blocks. Looks like most of the lights are out down there. Bet that's not an accident. Luca pulls the car to the side of the road and gets out. You and Jordan join her. We're going to have to go in there, she says. Basara said they'd off-key in the parking garage. It's a right exit just inside the tunnel. If we want to catch that bastard by surprise, we'll need to go in on foot. Of course, Fade says. Why not make things even more dangerous? Let's just hoof it in the dark, shadow-filled tunnel where there's a La Sombra assassin lurking around. Great fun. Thanks, Fade. The best way to help Key is the most direct. We'll walk down the tunnel and take the exit in the parking garage. Why not? No, I don't think we should take any more time. Let's take the car and crash the party. Literally, that will get us in fast to warn Key. Do I do that? We did say we'd be the most unhinged. I kind of like that one. Literally drive down. Hopefully we don't hit Key with that. Just had a thought. Oh dear. What if he's already dead? Rip. Hopefully not. Middle's unhinged. Yeah, that's what I think too. If we don't succeed in saving him, we could get the blame for it. Yes. Unfortunately, concerningly true. It'd be the perfect setup too. Yeah, you know what? Let's go with the unhinged one. Crash the car in. Not exactly subtle, Luca says, but also not a bad idea. We won't catch anyone by surprise that way. You sure? Oh boy. You nod. We need to keep Key safe. If we scare off the assassin rather than destroy him, that's still a win. Luca nods and motions for you to get back in the car. Okay then, let's get that son of a bitch. Since the crew is a group of lunatics. Yeah, unfortunately true. The car headlights cut through the darkness as you enter the tunnel. Ahead of you, on the right, an entrance ramp blockaded by half a dozen large orange pylons lead into an underground garage. Bastard blocked the way. Luca growls. Fuck it. She stomps on the gas pedal. We're going through. You grip the padded seat tightly to protect you against a crash as Luca's car speeds through the barriers, lurching up and over, first on the left, then on the right. If you were mortal, you might have suffered whiplash. We're clear, Luca whoops. Wait, what the hell? Twisting ebony arms slide along the pavement. What was I about to say? Slide along the pavement and warp shadows around the front edge of the car, dragging it to a stop before squeezing inward, smashing the metal and glass as they reach for you. Through the encroaching shadow, you catch a quick glimpse of a man dressed in all black before he disappears behind a thick concrete support column. Hold tight, Luca yells as she shifts the car into reverse, ripping the car free. That's definitely him, the La Sombra, she spits. Shadow constructs. I've studied the back end of the car smashes into the scattered pylons, and the airbags deploy, forcing Luca back against her seat. Shit, get out of the car. You shove the door open and roll out on the pavement, dizzy for a moment before your head clears. The grasping shadows have disappeared, and for a moment, you wonder if you imagined the whole thing. Is everyone okay? Damn it, Luca. No, we gotta move fast. Key. You must construct additional pylons. We need to move. Key needs our help. A sudden gunshot rings out through the garage, stinging your ears. Stinging your ears as the sound ricochets off the walls and pillars. All three of you duck even lower as you sweep your eyes over every inch of the blackened walls for signs of movement. There. Jordan points over at a blue Toyota Corolla. I don't see a thing, you say. It was Key, I'm sure of it, Jordan says. I took my eyes off him for a second and he was gone. Sounds like Key, all right. Wait, look over there. She points behind the car. She points at the car behind the Corolla, where you can just barely make out a bizarre, roiling void, whipping about the pavement soundlessly, as otherworldly shadows searching for prey. It's getting closer where Key was, Luca whispers. What is it? Jordan asks, peering up from behind a concrete median. Another one of those things, Luca whispers. Javier isn't playing around. I need to be careful before charging in. I slink along the wall. Okay, aspects I hide my senses. So dexterity, resolve, or composure. A resolve's not bad. A composure is a little worse. That actually wouldn't be bad. Aspects. I hide my senses, peering through the murk for any clues that could help me keep Key safe from his foe. Obfuscate plus hunger. I cloak myself in the shadows and move forward, ready to take out. That feels like a bad idea. Cloaking ourselves in the shadows, the one thing they're manipulating. It's not just us that the assassin is after. I yell out a warning to Key, hoping to alert him that his foe is closing in. What is that? Charisma, composure. Charisma, composure. Not great. Ooh. Let's do Auspex? Auspex? If Key dies, I am restarting. I'm sorry, it's gonna happen. Let's do the Auspex. Yeah, why not? It's hard to imagine how you could have been so blind only seconds earlier. The gloom parts as you scan the garage, revealing a darkly dressed figure leaning over a body lying prone on the pavement. Fangs deep in his victim's neck. You can't quite make out who's who, but you don't want to take any chances. Waving Luca and Jordan on with you, you rush towards the two men. You're still several feet away when a blood-smeared face looks up from the body and snarls at you like a cornered beast. Key? You gasp. The sheriff's face is twisted with rage as he growls at you like an animal guarding its kill. His clothes are dark with blood, and his left arm has been mangled and wrenched from its socket. You stop in your tracks. And when he's sure you're no longer closing in, he sinks his teeth back into the assassin's neck, drinking the Magister's VtM with audible slurps and gulps. Jesus, Jordan gasps as he arrives behind you. Should we stop him? Key's gonna drink him dry. Who cares? Luca says as she closes in from the left. Javier's no kin of mine. You know Arundo forbids diablerie, Jordan hisses. They almost destroyed each other. If Key drains him, it's like cannibalism. The whole game or the chapter? The whole game. No, just the chapter. It's hard to feel sympathy for him, Vade says. But if Key does this, it could complicate things. And the world will be free of that monster forever, Luca says. Key's the sheriff. Taking out the trash is part of his job. I say we walk away and let him finish what he started. Something's fishy about this. What if they've, shapeshifted and it's actually the other guy? This isn't a matter... Okay, Jordan's right, diablerie's wrong and forbidden. Key would thank us. Luca's right. It isn't a matter of who's right and who's wrong. Arundel made it very clear that diablerie is forbidden in Ottawa. If we can put a stop to it, we should. Yeah, I think the last one's fair, right? As a kind of focusing on the Camarilla. Luca throws up her hands. Fine. Hopefully this won't come back to bite us in the ass. The three of you form a circle around the feeding sheriff, watching closely for a point where he'll be sated enough to temper the urges of the beast without allowing the defeated vampire to be drained quickly. As Key's wounds start to mend, Jordan nods and you each rush in, pulling the struggling sheriff away from his prey. He twists in your grasp with almost overwhelming ferocity, nearly bashing your face in with a bony fist. But between the three of you, you're able to hold him as he slowly regains his senses. I thought we were going to lose him there for a second, Jordan gasps as Key finally stops struggling. It was a stupid risk, Lucas says. If he hadn't been so wounded, we might not still be standing here. Key groans. Ah, she's right, he gasps, pulling his arm away and dragging the back of his hand over his mouth to wipe the excess of his feeding. He stares at it for a moment, then licks it clean. Warm vitae shouldn't go to waste, he says, leaning back against a concrete pillar. The three of you got here just in time, Key says. Son of a bitch had a mortal lead me into the garage. I wasn't exactly expecting a La Sombra envoy to drop shadows on me. Reckless. Shakes his head. What happened to the mortal? Luca asks. He must have been important if you followed him here all alone. Key's face goes stony. I owe you thanks, but not an explanation. I was here on business, and that's all you need to know. So much for gratitude, Fade says. I wonder if our relationship with Key went up at all. Maybe 1%, I think. Maybe. Our relationship with Luca definitely went up. That's nice. Damn, I'm sorry, we've completely missed out on the Fade romance. Can we romance Fade on the Key romance? Yeah, you're gonna get that pet down, huh? I might stop it there for now. My voice is getting a little scratchy. Got a lot more laundry to do. It looks like it actually was Key. I'm kind of surprised. I didn't think it would be. Doesn't seem like something he would do, but also I guess the game's a lot different when you're not actively in his pants the whole time, so who knows. Oh, man. Oh, well. I will stop it there and head off for the day.